Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to chapel. Today, our speaker's name is P.J. Lewis, and he's a pastor at the Well in Kingsburg. Give him a big hand.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's you.
Here I am. Thank you, yeah. I can turn on microphone. Great. Hey, you guys, do you guys have Bibles or something on your phone? I don't know. Do you guys look up stuff when you come in here? If you do, please look at 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Go ahead and turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. As I get this back on. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, we're going to look at verses 12 through 26. As I was thinking about, like, hey, what do I talk to you guys about? And, I mean, you guys get chapel. How often do you guys get chapel? 2 times a week? Yeah. And so I don't know if some of you are like, hey, this is the most exciting time. I love this. Or, oh, no, I got to chapel again. Seriously, another one. I don't know where you're at. Probably all over the place. There's a lot of different kind of people in here. So I was trying to think of, like, what could I just give you guys? I don't know if it's even been said earlier in the year or whatever else. Maybe it's a repeat. I don't know. But I was just thinking, like, hey, what could I share with you guys about just something that I thought would be a good practical thing to remember that I wish I could remember it when I was in, I don't know, high school. Especially if I was in a Christian school. I never went to a Christian school like this, but I'm imagining, I'm just going to assume, I don't think it's true for everybody in this room, but I'm going to assume that most of you are believers in Jesus Christ. I'm going to assume that, so I'm going to talk to you in that way. So I thought, what would I do with people like, this is a church, actually. This is, like you guys, you go, oh, I go to this church, and somebody else goes to another church. Look, the church is a group of believers that do things together and are together over a period of time. In a lot of ways, you guys, this is also a church. You follow what I'm saying? So I was thinking, what would I say to the church of Immanuel? Like, what would I just tell you guys? And I thought in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 is something that Paul was telling the Corinthian church that they just need to remember. And it was just this, that you're all one body. And what does that actually mean, that you're a body of believers together? It's not just individual, but you're together like with everybody. How many of you guys are in 7th grade here? Fantastic. They're all sitting over there except for you guys that don't belong. So, and then 8th graders, which is awesome that you guys know. What, did you guys all sit in certain sections? Is that the deal? Oh, I didn't know that. So you guys, who was the 8th grader that was here? That's cheating or something? Okay, yeah. Okay, anyway. Freshmen? Way to go, freshmen. Sophomores? I'm seeing a pattern here. Juniors? And I'm going to guess this is seniors right here. Is this how it always goes? Does everybody have the same section like every year? So you just move to your other section? Okay, I gotta ask you, seriously, I gotta ask you, do you look forward to hey, next year I'm in that section? Do you do that? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And you're like, oh, those 7th graders, look at that. I remember when I was over there. That stinks. So you're like, you guys are already set up for division. I can't believe it, man. This is great. It's terrible, actually, but this is great. You guys are so divided. This is fantastic. You guys are totally the Corinthian church. So, I don't know how great this is going to be. That God's going, hey, this is what they need to hear. You guys, in verse 12, let me just read this thing. These different parts of the body you are. It says, verse 12, let me just read this. It says, for just as the body is one and has many members, Paul says, all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. For one Spirit, we were all baptized into one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and all were made to drink one Spirit. He begins this section by saying, hey, he's trying to think, what's a good example I can give you that saying, even though you're so different, even though you're so divided, even though you have so many different things, that you actually, you need to look at each other and say, and look at the group and say, but we're one body. It's not a body of 7th graders and a body of 8th graders and a body of 9th graders. That's not how it is. Although maybe that's what is, I don't know. But that's not how we should be looking at it. You should be looking at yourselves as a body. And a body, like you look up here, has many parts. I think it's a great example. It's an example that can be used throughout ages. This is a 2,000 year ago example, and it still applies today. But just like there's a bunch of parts in a body, how many bodies are up here on stage? One. But there's a lot of different parts that make up that body. That's what you need to look at yourselves, guys. For the rest of this year, maybe if you need to change the way you're thinking, would you just look at yourselves that way, that you know what, I'm part of something bigger than me. I'm part of a body, but it's not just our group and then their group. We're all one body. If you were taking notes, I want you to write down two things. Some of you need to hear this first one. Some of you need to hear the second one. More. The first one is this. Write this down. I am needed. I'm needed in the body. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who you are, but there is somebody in this room. I guarantee there's somebody in this room that you think you are not needed anywhere. And you're not needed in this body, and you are left out, and you have nothing to offer. You have nothing really to give, and that's what's going on inside of you. Maybe you're having a really good time and a really easy time of covering it up. Maybe nobody else even knows that's how you truly feel, but that's how you feel. There are other people here that need to hear exactly the opposite, which I think this is actually even more profound. And if you wrote this down, maybe you need to write this down. I need everyone else. Maybe as a group, maybe you're in a group of people that you would say, we are needed. And maybe as you can encourage each other, you guys, we're needed here. Even if we don't feel like it, we are needed. Even if they don't think we're needed, we're needed. They're wrong. We're needed. Others of you in your groups, you already know that you're needed. In fact, this school would be terrible if you weren't here. If it was really going on, that's you. And that's your little group. And we're it. And you need to remind each other, you guys, we're not it. We need everyone else. That 7th grade section up there, we need them. I know it sounds crazy. We need you guys. We need you guys. That you would say that and actually remind each other of that. It's not that you need someone. I think some people just heard that. Oh yeah, I know I can't do it alone. I know I need some friends. I know I need some other people. Did you hear what I said? Did I say you need someone? What did you hear me say? You need everyone. Everyone. That opens things up. That's what Paul is starting to say here. So he's going to talk to the first group first. The person that says, man, I don't know if I'm needed. Let me just keep reading this. It says, in verse 15, he goes, if the foot should say, because I'm not a hand, I don't belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. If the ear should say, because I'm not an eye, I don't belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. He's talking now, these people are going, you know what? I'm not really this kind of person. I am only this. I'm only in this, and I only have these abilities, or I don't have any abilities. I don't have anything to really offer. I'm not like that person who's really popular, who everybody accepts, and who's really doing something that's on stage or something that's really been around. I'm new here. I don't belong. All of those things you're thinking doesn't make it any less true about how much you really actually are valued and how much you are needed. I think some people, I would start thinking like, I'll never be needed unless I think that I'm needed. That's not true. That's actually not true. Because he's just talking about some people that were in the body, that the church, the Corinthian church, that were saying, look, if I was gone out of here, nobody would miss me. Nobody would even care. I'm not needed. And he says that doesn't mean you're not needed. You're needed simply because you are another follower of Jesus Christ. That's all the value you need. That's more than what you need. And the simple fact that somebody else in this room or other groups of people in this room think that you are not needed, they're not the ones that are right. They're wrong. They're not getting it. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to go, oh yeah, they're not getting it. Just realize this, they just don't get it yet. They just don't realize how much you're needed. But every single part of you guys is needed here. If you would just get that, I'm needed simply because I'm part of the body of Christ. That's what makes me needed. I might not have the same part as somebody else. Maybe you're wishing you were a different part. Maybe you can't wait till you become another part. Man, right now you are just as needed as the parts in this room that feel like they're the most important parts. Every part is important. Look what it says in verse 17. It says, if the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? I love this because 2,000 years ago, everybody's trying to fit in just like everybody tries to fit in today. And I think that sometimes we think like I'm not needed because I'm not like everyone else. I am so different. The reason why I'm not needed is because, and I'm not really a part of this thing, is because I'm so different. And everybody reminds me how different I am. And so I'm weird. I know I'm weird. I know I don't have the same thing in common. I don't have the same interests that this other group of people have. I don't fit in. This is what's so weird about this, you guys, is if you don't feel like you fit in, the more you fit in. If you feel like I don't fit in, the more important you are in this body. The more important you are. Isn't that crazy? We feel the opposite. Which is why he says, if every part were an eye, where would the body be? If it was just a pile of eyes up here, it'd be weird. And it would be able to see really well. Behind you, in front of you, above you, whatever. But it wouldn't be able to do anything else. It's important that if you have a body, it's so important that there's so many different parts. The hand is not anything like the ear. Nothing like it. There is nothing in common. So if you're a hand, don't try to be an ear so you can fit in. Be the hand that you are and realize that the ear needs you because it can hear things, but it can't grab things very well. Follow what I'm saying? Don't buy the lie, you guys. Everything about why you don't think you fit in is exactly what's making you so valuable. That's it. And if nobody else in this room even realizes that, I want you to know this. God realizes it. God made you that way. And the rest of these people need you. They just don't know that they need you. But don't hold that against them. Just continue to offer what you offer. The perspective, the values, the things that you are, that God has given you, and offer it to everybody else. Because you're needed. We don't need a bunch of eyes. We don't need a group of just seniors. We don't. That's just an example. He goes in verse 18, he says, but as it is, God arranged the members of the body, each one of them as he chose. If all of you are a single member, where would the body be? As it is written, there are many parts, yet one body. You're not going to be needed because you get to a place where you feel like you fit in. You already fit into the body because God placed you there. God's the one who chose exactly where you need to be. I am needed. Maybe some of you need to say it to yourself, or as your group, we are needed exactly the way we are. There's others in this room that this whole time you've been going, I got it. Exactly right. I am needed. You're right. It's totally good. Yeah, tell them. Okay, maybe you need to hear the other part, which is all of you that have already realized how needed you are, that maybe you need to hear the other side, which is that you need everyone else. Not just your group, not just your best friend, not just the group of people that you're in, not just those. You need everyone else. Everyone else. Every other group you need. We have that attitude. Because this is what he goes on and says. Listen to this in verse 21. He says, the eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you. Nor again, the head to the feet, I have no need of you. some of you as a group or individual are going, you know what? And this is really honest. Like and I don't know who it is. You know who it is. But you really are thinking, if that person doesn't show up today, it will be a much better day. And maybe you say that together with some other people. Aren't you glad she isn't here today? Man, I sure hope that he doesn't come back. I hope he goes to the public school next year. That'd be good. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. That person that you think is the least needed is the most needed. This is really hitting. This might be harder for some of us than the first thing of realizing how needed you are, is to realize you need everyone else, even that person. Whoever that is, or the group of people. If this could just be a high school and just get rid of the junior high, wouldn't it be so much better? Say no. Say no. Say no. You said, yeah, no, it's not. It's not better. And honestly, the junior high, if this is just junior high, we get the high schoolers that are so arrogant and so like into themselves out of here, wouldn't that be so much better? And you go, they're clapping even. So you're like, wouldn't that be great? You know, no, it's not great. See, get out of that thinking, you guys. It's so easy to think that way. If it just wasn't for these people, it'd be better. Look, man, that's the eye saying to the hand, we don't need you. That's the group of the eyes or saying to all the hands, we don't need you. Or the head saying to feet, we don't need you. I'm so high up here. I'm the head. You're the feet. You're always stinky. You're always on the, you need to be covered up. You're not very good. We don't need you. Yeah, you do. You need each other. And listen to this, in verse 22, it actually says this. This is so crazy. It says, on the contrary, the parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. The people that you go are the weak link. And I want you to think about, who is the weak link in this room? Just think about it. The person you honestly think that it is. This is the weak link. Or the group of people that you think are the weak links. They are indispensable. They're indispensable. And on those parts of the body that we think less honorable, the ones that you go in this room are the ones with the least amount of honor. We bestow the greater honor. To fight against, wouldn't it be, guys, it's a crazy thing, but to go, that's the person that we would naturally say doesn't really add value very much to the body or doesn't, then you know what? You as a group, give them even more value. Do the opposite of what you would naturally do. Because that's how God made us together. They are valuable. Every single part of us is valuable. Wherever we are in our lives, no matter who we are, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from, no matter how they are, if that person is another part of the body of Jesus Christ, then they're needed just as much as you are. And he just says, this is what you do. You bestow greater honor. And our unpresentable parts, there are people that you go, they're embarrassing. He goes, those embarrassing parts are treated with greater modesty. We're going to give them even more grace. And that's not what you naturally want to do. They've already taken all the grace. And you give them even more. And you go, yeah, maybe they're not as mature, maybe they're not, whatever else, maybe they don't have it all together. You know what? Then let's treat them even better. Treat them even better. Because it says in verse 24, which are more presentable parts don't require, the people that are already mature, you don't require any added grace and any added stuff. There's some people that don't require that as much, because that's okay. So you give grace to the other ones so that you are able to see each other as the same value. He goes, but God has so composed the body, giving greater honor to the part that lacked it. That's what God has done. So let's do the same thing. And why? What is this going to do? That there may be no division in the body, but that the members have the same care for one another. When you do that, when you rub against everything inside of you that's naturally saying, let's separate ourselves, we don't need them, whatever else. When you go against that and say, no, you know what, let's do something crazy. Let's treat them as if they're the most valuable person in the room or the most valuable people in this group. When you do that, the divisions will go away. And most likely, that person was probably you in the past. And how would you have wanted to be treated? See, do that. And I love it in verse 26. This is what's going to happen, you guys. If one member suffers, all suffer together. If one member is honored, all rejoice together. You really will be one healthy body instead of a whole bunch of cliques and divisions. And like every other place and every other school and every other group and every other culture that there already is, you guys will be different. If you have this mentality, you guys, there won't be any more selfishness. There won't be any more jealousy. There won't be any more cliques. There won't be any more divisions. There won't be any more senses of entitlement. There won't be any more senses that other people feel like they're entitled. There won't be any more sense of self-pity. And woe is me. There won't be any more pride. If you just keep on working against the natural thing of saying, I'm an I, and I just want to hang out with people that are I's because they're like me. It's more comfortable. It's more comfortable. It's easier. It's a lot harder to accept a person that's totally different. Totally different. It's hard for the eyes to accept the feet. But it's a whole lot better. It's a whole lot better. You agree? Something to think about. Encourage each other with, you guys. If you're in one group, encourage them one way. We're needed. If you're in the other group, would you just you be the one that says to the other people, you guys, why are we talking about them like that? We need them. And if you are the person I'm talking to, that might be difficult because the other people in the group might not want to hear it. But don't accept the way things are, you guys. You go ahead and be the one that says, no, this is how it shouldn't be. Let's make it how it ought to be. Go for it. And we're going to pray for you. Let me pray for you right now. Lord, thank you for the time this morning that we were I don't know, God, hopefully it was a practical thing that I know for me, I needed to hear this when I was in high school. I needed to hear this when I was in junior high. And especially if I was in a Christian school together with other people who are claiming to be followers of Jesus. So God, I pray that we would just continue to sharpen each other. I'm leaving here. These guys aren't going to see me, but they're going to see each other every day. And they're going to see their groups every day. God, that they would just remind each other just those two simple sentences. We're needed, and we need everyone. Underline everyone. Everyone else. Pray that would be true of this body, and they would shine as a light for you. In your name, amen.